Two becomes three in the talkSPORT studios. We're joined now by former Liverpool, Man City and Germany midfielder, 2005 Champions League winner Didi Hamann. Didi, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Brilliant morning to get you in. We've got Liverpool, we've got Manchester City, we've got Newcastle at the weekend. It's all happening. But we're going to start last night, mate. Manchester City. Andy and I were talking about, I thought the first half they were really comfortable. Absolutely really comfortable. But I think Pep's got a point. Are we now becoming a little bit too critical because the second half didn't match the first, whereas maybe a couple of years ago, one each in Leipzig's a good result?
Yeah, it is a good result, but Leipzig was very poor in the first half. One of the players came out after the game and said, we won't play another half like this. I think it's far from over, and Kunku's probably their main player. He's been out for 3 months. He got a few minutes at the weekend, few minutes yesterday. But I don't think they, with Haaland in the team, they don't dominate teams as they used to do. They used to suffocate teams with possession, creating chances. And the thing that worries me with Haaland is that, you know, they had a game of the weekend at Forest where they're winning, get packed back. Same happens yesterday. They can't even get him in the game when they sit back and when they can play on the, or should be able to play on the counter attack, when they can use his pace. They can't even get him in the team or in the game then. And I think that's what worries me most at the moment about City.
Do you know, Didi? When I used to watch Erling Haaland when he was playing in Germany, I used to look, you know, and we weren't always watching the 90 minutes every week, but I used to see the snippets, the highlights, and see the goals. And the goals that I used to see him score were him running onto things, using that incredible his physique and all his strengths and his pace, charging onto things and looking like someone that would take a gate off its hinges if he had to in order to score a goal, you know, and unstoppable. And I'm seeing someone now that at times doesn't quite look comfortable in where he's got to run, how he's got to run, when he's got to. It's frustrating kind of having to watch him in some ways in this team, despite the fact that he scored, he got 26 odd goals. You know, you can't knock the numbers. I just think there's more in there that they could get out of him. Well,
that's a question whether he actually does make the team better. Because that he's a brilliant player. It's not a criticism on the player that he's a brilliant player. He's already showed, because you just mentioned these numbers. But when people said last season or last year, oh, he's going to City, I said no, he's not going to go to City, because Haaland is everything City is not. And now you can say maybe he's the missing piece of the jigsaw, but he's used to a football in Salzburg and in Dortmund, which is so much different from the one City plays, and it's just not possible, because it's Guardiola's philosophy. He wants to pass the ball, he wants to suffocate teams with possession and dominance, and they just don't do it with him, because half the time when I watch him, it's like playing with 10 men, and they just can't get him in the game. I think he had 20 touches yesterday at one half chance, where maybe he should have done better. But you can't keep playing this way, where you feel you play with 10 men and forget about the numbers. End of the day, what matters, how many goals does the team score over the course of the season, and how many points do they get?
Well, here's a question for you, and it's an interesting one. Looking at it, and I agree with everything that's been said here, I mean, it's probably quite incredible. There'll be people listening to us scratching their heads why we're having this conversation about somebody that scored 26 goals. But would Harry Kane have been a better option? Because I'm thinking, you might agree, you might not agree with me, I think Harry Kane is a far better footballer outside the box. I'm not sure he'll score just as many goals as Haaland, but he'll certainly get a good few. Would he have been a better option?
Well, I think you need a link-up player. You need a link-up player when you play for City. The way Guardiola wants to play, you need somebody who's comfortable with the ball. You know, he's okay with the ball, but what he does do, as Andy said, he likes the ball behind. He likes to run onto things, because when he changes gears, he's unstoppable. And this is why even when Aguero was there, he didn't always used to play. He played Foden there, played Sterling there. And the other thing that, you know, last season you probably had 3-4 players, midfield players, who scored 10 plus goals by now. Now I think you've got Alvarez or Foden with 7, and then the next one's got 3 or 4. Mahrez got a few now.
Yeah, he's got a dozen, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, these guys, they live on confidence, as you know, these attacking midfielders, and obviously they don't get half the goals they do now because he's there.
It's absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's everyone will have a different opinion on it, and as I said earlier, it's amazing to think we're having this conversation that somebody at this moment in time has 26 goals and could probably, and will end up with more than 40.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.